Blanky during winter. Or is that a sweater that she's holding? Wait! Sorry. Treating Myself is the third studio album released by Meghan Trainor. This has been an album I know a lot of people have been waiting for, and yes, I'm behind on reviewing this one as well. Don't worry, we are getting caught up right now. Last year, I really enjoyed the EP Love Train that she released. I probably don't think it's the one that I will return to always, but I will admit Meghan Trainor does have a voice that complements the pop genre pretty well, and for what that EP was trying to be, I thought it did everything it needed to be in order to be recommendable. But her fans have been wanting a full-length album for a while, and now we finally have it. And what do I think of this album? I don't dislike it. Ever since Meghan Trainor came onto the scene, if you will, I thought, this is someone who I feel like may go too far on certain songs. And I don't mean vulgarity or anything like that. I mean, she might push the boundaries of like, I don't know if this is supposed to be like an adult pop thing or a kids pop thing. Not kids pop, that's very different. Maybe a better phrase is to say that I was afraid she'd be a bit much. Does that mean anything to any of you? And in a few of the songs in this album, I did feel that way. Not that it was much, it just felt like, oh, she's pushing it a little bit. And I wasn't really into the few songs that were in this album. That's how primarily the first 4 or 5 songs are in this album. After that, I enjoyed this album actually more than I thought I would. While the first few songs kind of focus on, well, let's just take the title of the album here. There's a lot of albums, there's a lot of things going on social media that talk about loving yourself, self-love, stuff like that. I'm not against that. I just am against the ideology that goes around behind that because people, I think, get a little too obsessed with themselves or don't actually focus on others when they need help, assistance, charity, and whatever you want to call it. I know that's not the point. It's not anti-charity, but it can kind of come off that way every once in a while. But when you focus on self-worth, which I'll give Meghan Trainor some points on this, I think to an extent her songs can kind of border into that area. She talks about self-worth, but her songs kind of speak self-love. So she's kind of walking the line, going back and forth between them. So it's like the lyrics profess self-love, but the sentiment is more of self-worth. And I wish more artists did that. And I think she has the potential to kind of catch on to that. We'll just have to see. Now, before I highlight the songs I would like to recommend in this album, I just want to say that this still is a pop album. And what I am trying to convey when I say that is that it's meant for a wide audience, but definitely more geared toward a younger generation. And there's nothing wrong with that. I find nothing wrong with that whatsoever. It doesn't feel very pandering either. It feels like she kind of knows who she's talking to, and I don't feel like she's irresponsible that much with what she's singing about. There are just moments where sometimes I'm just into the groove, but not into the idea of the song, and sometimes there's no issue with that. But I think if you're a Meghan Trainor fan, I think even the songs that wouldn't be considered the hits or anything, I think you can actually find a good amount of enjoyment in the other songs here. But for the most part, most of these songs, even the ones I like, can to an extent be just the pop song you need just to have on the radio. Not to blow your mind, but just there. But there might be a surprise also. One of the songs that I want to mention that kind of makes me think that way is Ashes. It feels like such a simple pop song, but it doesn't feel fake. And there's actually a lot of admiration I surprisingly will feel and commend when I say that. A song that I feel like a lot of younger girls in particular will like is Lie to Me, which is kind of like that in denial love song, and which the way it is sung and the way that the lyrics are kind of conveying its message, it doesn't feel like it's cliche. It doesn't feel like it's stirring people from the negative perspective that can present. It just feels like, oh yeah, it's now it happens to other people. It's like, okay, like, you know, don't take this one too seriously. Just know that this happens to people on occasion. The song No Excuses, this is kind of like another one of those songs where Meghan Trainor feels like she has to kind of talk to some people, get them in their place kind of thing. The sentiment of the song actually kind of works okay for me. Literally to the point is, get your act together, get some manners. It's basically all it's trying to say. A song that I like okay, but I know a lot of other people are going to like is Evil Twins. That song is going to be quoted a lot. I can see from a lot of much younger people than me. If I look at my notes right here, there are a few songs in here where I feel like I'm on the borderline because there are aspects of it that I do like, but there's aspects that hold me back from loving the songs. Such as After You. It's not bad, it just is trying to be a little deeper than the actual vibe of the song gives off. And the other song, Another Option, the whole mood of the song I don't care for at all, but I did pay attention lyrically to this song, and I agree with it when you really dig deep into it. And that part, I continue to get more and more surprised every time I feel legitimate depth in a Meghan Trainor song. Okay, now, I need to highlight one last song, Here to Stay. Firstly, if I just had an instrumental version of this song, I would be pretty dang happy. And secondly, this is like a terrific song that allows an in-sync relationship to just kind of come together. I could re-listen to the song a lot. This could be a song that I will highlight big time at the end of the year. I might go on record saying this might be my favorite Meghan Trainor song. To even feel like I would have a Meghan Trainor song at this point in my life, I would be like, wow, that's impressive in itself. Good job, girl. All in all, guys, this album is more fun than I anticipated it to be. It is probably not what I will listen to too often. It has its fan base out there, and I'm sure it caters to it super well. For me, I enjoy particular aspects of it. And other things, I feel like maybe the pop world is kind of trying to control a little bit of this album, but I feel like she was able to shine a little bit brighter than I could have predicted, even despite my admiration for her EP. But again, that's an EP. An album is way different. So, after having listened and reviewed this album, with production of 85%, creativity, 80%, expression and lyrics, 73%, I'm going to give this album a good. This is one of those albums where you have to be careful how you say good. A lot of times my good rating can imply mediocre, and a lot of times it can mean just good enough, and a lot of other times it just means that I'm satisfied with it. And I think that's what I'm trying to convey at this moment. I have nothing to particularly rave except for that one song. I'm like really surprised about that. I don't have to rave about this album, but I don't see any problem with saying that there's plenty of people who have legitimacy to like this album. That wasn't so painful. Why did I think that? As always, guys, thank you so much for watching. And remember, if you want to discover, promote, and review the best in entertainment, remember to like, comment, subscribe, share, all that good stuff down below so you can get that yes in your life. See you next time.
Oh, you're here to stay.